Good evening. If you would join me, stand for the pledge and remain standing for a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, we're going to do a roll call.
Ms. Beers. Here. Mr. Bennett. Mr. Brown.
Here.
Mr. Bryant.
Here.
Mr. Chauncey.
Here.
Reverend Custard.
Here.
Mr. Prince. Here. Mr. DiGiacomo.
Here.
Mr. Staworski.
Here. Okay, Mr. Ford, we're ready for the committee of a whole.
Good evening, everyone. I am online here tonight. I didn't want to spread any of the germs that I have, so please let me know if you cannot hear me. The sound is good?
We're echoing a little bit.
Got an echo because I turned the second.
Good now?
Better. Keep talking.
Try it now.
Okay.
Yeah,
There we go.
Testing?
There you
We're
go.
good.
All right, very good. Thank you. We will start with our student representatives. Ella from Cambridge Springs High School.
Good evening. My name is Ella Murray, and I am your student representative for Cambridge Springs High School. Last Friday and last Monday, Cambridge Springs basketball celebrated their seniors. At the girls' basketball senior night, there were hoagies for anyone who wanted one, and the boys' senior night enjoyed a halftime routine by the cheerleaders, and they had a complimentary fifth quarter from the Rambler following the game. As the softball team prepares for their upcoming season, they held a Super Supper fundraiser where families could enjoy all-they-can-eat soup as well as a roll and dessert, and it was a grand success as they sold out all of their soups. The Leadership Council enjoyed an Erie Otters hockey game last Thursday as an incentive for all of their hard work and dedication to the school. It was a great time for all, despite the fact that the Otters sadly lost the game. Key Club is working hard to spread a little bit of cheer through this long winter season. They will be putting positive notes on lockers this week and will be passing out shamrock stickers as well as golden candies for St. Patrick's Day coming up in March. They're also currently collecting old t-shirts in order to make dog toys, which they will donate to local shelters. On Thursday, Paw's hand-delivered therapy dogs are coming into the school and will be interacting with students as well as getting pictures and interviews for the media students. The elementary school just celebrated their 100th day of school. Students were dressed up as 100-year-olds with gray hair and, little walkers. They're looking forward to another family engagement night on February 26th at the elementary school. There will be a virtual visit with author Peter Brown and activities such as painters, planting, animation, camouflage, and prosthetic learning. The elementary school would also like to give a shout out to custodian Sue Gibbs, who constantly goes above and beyond to make sure the school is safe, welcoming, and ready for students and staff each day. The Valentine's Day edition of the Pitchfork is coming out this Friday. Please keep your eye open for that and continue to check up with our social medias. Thank you.
Logan from Maplewood. Logan here?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening. My name is Logan Keir. As a Maplewood representative, it is my goal to share with you some of the things happening at my school. First off, a few weeks ago, our school started doing daily randomized searches in the morning, requiring students to empty their bags and pass through a metal detector. This process that aims to keep students safe has gone very smoothly and no major complaints have been made so far. Moving on to more fun matters, this past Friday we held our first semester incentive for all students with grades 70% or higher and no illegal absences. For this incentive, students had the opportunity to go snow tubing at Avalanche Express in Meadville. Overall, this day was a true success. On Thursday, February 5th, the seniors of the girls volleyball team joined up with Cockington seniors to deliver a check of $3,756 to Yolanda G. Bargo Oncology Institute's Benevolent Fund. These funds were raised from the 16th annual Dig for a Cure match. With sports, 3 teams have celebrated their senior nights, those being boys basketball, girls basketball, and the wrestling team. The boys basketball team honored seniors Liam McCarl and Leonard Pierce, as well as senior cheerleaders Bryn Monteforte, Riley Boyles, and Jocelyn Van Cage. The wrestling team celebrated Max Merchant and cheerleaders Taylor McQuarrie, Olivia Van Tassel, Jessica Sherman, and Anne-Marie Wine. Finally, tonight, the girls basketball team celebrates their seniors Maggie Maines and Ella Frazier. Similarly to last time I spoke at a board meeting, I plan on heading back to my school to support my seniors and my peers. The Maplewood Marching Band has been invited to perform an 85th anniversary commemoration of Pearl Harbor. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for these students, our school, and this district. The trip to Hawaii requires $88,000 in funding by March 9th, and over $60,000 has already been raised. We ask you as a community to consider donating to this event. Checks should be made payable to Maplewood Band boosters and will be fully refunded if the $88,000 requirement is not met. Lastly, it is imperative that I mention our Maplewood Unified Bocce program. These outstanding athletes are now 3-1 in their season. Thank you.
From Sagertown, Caden and Lee. Sagertown reps here.
Yeah,
Leah couldn't make it, so we have Tyler Smith.
Tyler
replacement.
Smith's here instead.
Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Caden Astor,
And I'm Tyler Smith.
and we're here to just give you the rundown on what's been happening in Sagertown. So, the Math and Science Club's currently selling boxes of Daffins bars to fundraise their field trip at the end of the year. We don't know where that is, too. Student Council, they're hosting a blood drive Thursday, February 26th. And the Young Conservative Club members are making Valentine's cards to give veterans in local nursing homes. And our sports teams, our girls basketball team is like 7-10. They have a game tonight, which I'm going to after this. And they had their senior night on Thursday. The boys basketball team senior night's on Wednesday against Greenville. So if you guys aren't busy, please come and support. The team would love if you guys would come and support. That's all I have for you. So.
And I have our academics at Sagertown, like our Panther Press, which they just released their New Year's issue of the Panther Press. Our junior high recently had their junior high spelling bee, which took place on January 30th. 9 spellers from Mr. Roberts' English class took to the stage in our 2nd annual junior high spelling bee, where Colt Scott was crowned the winner. Now, for our exciting events taking place at Sagertown, our entire school went to the Erie Otters Incentive on last Thursday, where our students headed to the Erie Insurance Arena for the Erie Otters game for their end of the semester incentive, as well as any students taking Mr. Greco's anatomy class were allowed to go up to Gannon University to visit the cadaver lab.
That's all we have for you today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda, committee of the whole agenda is our PAEA representative, Debbie. There she is, Debbie Miller.
I think I'm gonna speak loud and stand over here, if that's okay, because I don't think you have time for me to hobble there and back and still get this meeting done tonight. So, anyway, good evening, members of the board, administration, staff, and community members. I stand here tonight representing the PENNCREST educators, specialists, and staff who are the heartbeat of this district every single day. We know the fiscal climate is challenging. As teachers, we are experts at making a lot out of a little. We do it in our classrooms every day. But as you navigate into the upcoming budget season, we are here to remind you that our schools are more than buildings and bottom lines. They are ecosystems of inspiration, and we cannot afford to lose the parts that actually make them work. When budgets get tight, the conversation often shifts to core requirements or the basics. But as the people on the front lines, we know that what the state considers extra is often what makes the core possible. Connection before content. A student is more likely to excel in algebra if they have felt a sense of pride in chorus or found their passion in the fishing club. The power of people. What families love about our schools isn't our software packages or our facilities, it's the people. It's the educators who know exactly how to help a frustrated child, the librarians who find that one book that turns a non-reader into a voracious reader, or a club advisor or a coach who helps them see their skills in leadership. Safety and stability. For many of our students, the consistency of their favorite programs and the presence of a trusted staff are the only constants in their lives. We request that we protect the culture of PENNCREST. We ask that as you make decisions, you prioritize people over programs and culture over convenience. The magic of our district, the reason parents move here and teachers stay here, is found in the margins. It's found in the elective that sparks a career, the after-school club that prevents isolation, and the manageable class sizes that allow us to actually see our students every day. Protecting the culture of PENNCREST is all our business. The union isn't just here to advocate for ourselves. We are here to advocate for the integrity of the profession and the quality of our students' education. We invite you to sit with us, listen to our stories from the classroom, and let us help you identify creative ways to save money without soul-crushing cuts. Don't just balance the budget. Protect the things that make this district a place we are all proud to call a home. We aren't just here to talk about the budget in the abstract. We're here to talk about the most precious resource in any school, time. Our teachers are currently working a median of 48 hours a week, median, meaning that there are many with numbers much higher. They are grading at kitchen tables or sporting events or dance class and lesson prepping in the middle of the night. When we say that the budget is tight, we often ask our teachers to do more with less. But as I tried to express to you last month, you cannot pour from an empty cup, and time is the one thing our educators have run out of. Here is our request. We're calling on this board to authorize a time audit and reprioritization initiative. We don't need a massive budget increase to give teachers their time back. We need the political will to change how we use the hours we already have. Last month, Mrs. Feely and 3 elementary principals joined us to brainstorm improvements at the elementary level. However, we must continue the discussion and the drive for time. We urge you to look at 3 high-impact, low-cost time wins. The first one, we ask you to capture the calendar. Audit every recurring staff meeting. If it can be an email, make it an email. If it's a professional development day, let it be professional planning time where teachers can actually collaborate on the lessons that they're teaching tomorrow. Innovative master scheduling. We ask the district to explore designing master schedules more creatively with staff input. We can provide teachers with the deep work blocks that they need to provide high-quality feedback to our students. And the third one, maybe my favorite, take it off their plate. Every new initiative comes with a time tax. We ask that for every new administrative task or software platform or whatever, that the board require the removal of an existing or redundant task. When we give teachers more time, we aren't just helping the staff. We're ensuring that when a student walks into a classroom, that they are met by an educator who is prepared, energized, and knows they're supported. Giving teachers more time is the single most effective way to protect the heart of our schools without spending a single extra dollar. Let's stop asking our teachers to find more hours in the day and start helping them protect the ones that they do have. Thank you.
Next up, under my updates, I'm going to have a couple of people help me here this evening. First, we're going to talk about Connect Ed, and Kristen, could you go ahead and run with that, please?
Sure. So PSBA, you guys are all familiar with that organization, has partnered up with Diamond Communications to improve the wireless connectivity and cell tower strengths at school districts to help with all the wireless connections. So they have developed this program through Connect Ed that allows school districts to participate at no cost to us if you guys are interested. And they do all the resources, so it's no cost, and they do all the analysis. They find cell carriers if we're interested in putting up a cell tower at any of our school districts. It's a potential revenue source for the first and second carrier. We get 30% of the lease payments. If we get a third and fourth one, we get 40% of the lease payments. So it's an opportunity. Everything's vetted through their legal counsel. Of course, we would have our own legal look over anything before we would sign anything. There's no obligation. We can refuse any offer. So until they have a carrier, we wouldn't have any contract basically until they found carriers that wanted to come in our area. So if they wanted to put a cell tower, say, behind here, and we could refuse and say, we don't want it there. I guess our hopes with the program is Maplewood area to improve the connectivity out there, to help our staff, as well as, for emergency purposes. If we could find a spot out there, again, they take care of all the maintenance. They just need an access to that cell tower. They have different models that they can do so it doesn't look like a cell tower. If that's something we're interested in, they can make the appearance of them a little better so it's not an eyesore if we would qualify for the upgraded tower. So if that's something you guys are interested in, again, it's no cost to us. They do all the legwork. It's a small revenue. It's about $9,000 per year if we get 1 to 2 carriers. Long term, over 35 years, we're looking at like $1.5 million. So it's, as far as a cost perspective initiative, it's not going to bring in a ton of revenue right away. But it is an opportunity for us to go through the PSBA organization and possibly improve our cell connectivity at any one of our schools. So if it's something the board is interested in, we can bring them for a presentation in March. And then again, it's no obligation if you guys see the presentation and say this isn't something we'd even consider in any of our schools, that's okay. But it's entirely up to you. If you'd like us to bring them in, just let me know. Any questions, discussion?
I think it's a good opportunity. You should hear what they have to say, especially like you said, Maplewood area. It'd be nice to get something out there.
It could take them a couple years. This
Yeah.
might not be something if we enter into an agreement that it's gonna happen, by next fall. It could take them, they did say, a couple years to find those carriers to come to our area. But again, if they come and we don't want that carrier in that area, we decide we don't wanna put up a cell tower, that's okay.
Yeah.
There's no obligation.
It's not
Add something,
costing.
Richard?
Yeah, I mean, not only can it improve cell operations, it would also improve emergency communications out there as well, which would be critical for that area, so. But I think Kristen covered everything else really well. I mean, it would be, it's not something that really extends the district in any way. We would get the right of refusal of where we would, let them locate it, and they would handle, the access road, the electricity, the fiber, all the maintenance. Just be giving them parcel of land, so.
I see some head shakes.
Yeah.
I think it sounds like a no-brainer.
I mean, even really in Sagertown
It's-
and Cambridge, there's opportunities.
They
It's a
showed us
lease, right? Lease
Yeah, it would be a
land.
lease. We would still own the property, they would lease the space from us, basically.
Yeah, they showed us a map that kind of showed where the, good coverage was, bad coverage in all the school districts, so we do have that. So we'll go ahead and set that up and have someone present. It'll probably be via Zoom if that's okay,
Yeah.
unless you want them here. And then if you guys want to move forward after that, we can make that decision. And like I said, there is documents, of course, we'll have Jordan review all that. So we'll have all that ready for the next meeting as well.
Thank you.
School calendar.
Sean, you with us still?
Mrs. Feely is going to talk about the school calendar now.
So
So we are working on a draft school calendar for 26-27, and of course that is in collaboration with the other two Crawford County school districts so that we're in line with the Career and Tech Center. And it's pretty similar, our draft that we'll be presenting, not voting on this month, it'll come back next month in March for a vote. Is very similar to this year's calendar at this point. What I would like to point out is we did find a way to put in a second set of parent conferences with some evening hour options. If you look in January, the January 28th date would be a pre-scheduled 2-hour delay day for students and a flex day for staff. So everybody would come in at 10 a.m. and then staff would work into the evening to allow for evening parent conferences. And then that second day, the Friday, would be the second part of parent conferences and their clerical work day that they have in their contract. So it's a little that would be the difference in the schedule that allows for that second set of conferences specifically for the elementary that has asked for it.
So, Mr. Ford, when you meet with your other superintendents and maybe the tech folks on the board, snow day number 3,
Okay.
possibility of moving that to the 25th. I mean, I believe in the last 2-3 years we've used our snow days. We've gotten to snow day number 3. That allows them. They would have to attend school Monday after Easter. Maybe someone can explain to me logically. It seems to make better sense on the 25th. So even if we have snow day number 3, we still have a 4-day break at Easter, Good Friday. Easter Sunday would be off. I imagine a lot of folks travel on that day in the late evening, so that would give them Monday off. So I know that we have to align with other calendars, but that would be a suggestion. Anyone have a thought on that?
Sure, absolutely. And we're meeting, we're meeting with the other superintendents and the tech school tomorrow morning, and everyone's bringing their draft copies of their calendars. So, yeah, I can definitely bring that up for sure. Why we have to be aligned too, just so if we would not be aligned, and we would do our own thing, we have the potential to lose 2 days. Our tech students could lose 2 days of instruction in there. So that's why we try to align as much as possible with all 3 districts, Conneaut and Crawford Central, just so we limit. There's some days that they go, but overall we do a pretty good job of alignment. And so the calendar you've seen, we've already worked on that some, all 3 superintendents. And so the VOTEC, they kind of ended up doing more what, where the 3 districts are going. But I'll definitely bring that up for sure.
Thank you.
Any other things you see on the calendar? It's late. It's starting late this year because of the fair. The fair's late. And so unfortunately, we have to go into the second week of June.
I'm gonna be the bad guy here and ask, I understand the fair's a week or a little late, but why do we have to sacrifice a whole week because of the fair?
I can answer that, and I actually brought this up and asked the question. So Crawford Central has to go after the fair. It's actually contractual, and so that's the one reason. Conneaut has the VOAG, and they have a number of students who attend the fair. So as I discussed, because I actually brought it up, and so. And that's the main reason, because I thought, why couldn't we at least start teaching? But neither one of the other districts was able to do that, so therefore it would put us off when it comes to the alignment in the technical center.
With students, we couldn't start with students that week.
No, but if the teachers came 27th, 28th, and then the students start 31st, then we could build in another snow day. It's February, we've already burned
Yes.
through our snow days. I'm trying to figure out how we can put in 1 or 2 more snow days and without going any later. I mean, we could go a day later, June 11th, and build a day in that way. I mean,
That was the challenge with snow days, was trying to find
Right.
a fourth without going later in June. It's-
I mean, nobody has a crystal ball to know what our winter's gonna be next year. We haven't figured it out in the last
Not sure what it's gonna be this year.
last 100 years, we haven't figured it out, so I'm pretty sure it's not gonna be any different. But, that's all, I'm just.
I
I'm trying to
would
see
love
what,
to bring that up again, Mr. Brown. I will bring that up in the morning when we talk. It was it was probably more frustrating for me, because I really wanted to do that week before, so, but,
and I hate to have, I hate to go any later than the June 10th or 11th, but I'm looking at a couple more snow days, what I think we should try to achieve.
okay. Let us see what we can accomplish before we bring it up for approval. Other questions on the calendar?
Don't see any.
Next up, we have, go ahead.
I said I don't see any, you can move on.
Okay, very good, thank you. Next up is some discussion on some athletics in the district. There's three different topics here that I'm gonna share with. And so we'll start with boys wrestling at Cambridge Springs. And by the way, the first two topics it's all about student participation. So I guess I could back up before I get into specifics, but student participation is something that unfortunately the small schools across the country and across the state are dealing with, and we're no different. There's many basketball teams right now not able to play JV schedules. Football teams, many schools don't play JV anymore. And so I know it's student participation's down. And so it makes, in some ways it makes sense because our enrollment has also gone down. So it kind of correlates with our enrollment. And so, but it's our job as administration and then ultimately the board that we have to look at participation, in my opinion, in three different areas. We look, first of all, naturally at student safety and fatigue. Anytime, and the sports are different. We'll talk about two sports tonight. We're going to talk about wrestling, and then we're going to talk about soccer. But anytime you have on a team sport that you're managing numbers, and you're having to play with less kids, you're putting potential kids at risk. And students don't think that. I didn't think that at 18. I thought I could go. But there's just a lot of potential safety issues as we put kids out on the field. You talk football, and I'm going to talk generally here before I get into specifics. You talk football, if you're running low numbers in football and all of a sudden you're putting freshmen out there to play against sometimes grown men, you're putting kids at risk. And you're really doing that across all sports. So sometimes you're putting, in an effort to get bodies, if you will, out on the field, you're getting kids with less experience, you're putting younger kids in. And so student safety is real. Throw in the fact that we outdoor sports, you have weather, you have cancellations, you're playing back-to-back games. It is, and so oftentimes it's a competitive disadvantage. Number two, and there's, when we've had some wrestling matches this year that have been really quick. And when I say quick, I'm talking under 20 minutes. And just because we don't have the athletes to compete, so our wrestling's a unique sport. It's because it's individual and team, and so individuals still get to compete, and so, but from a team perspective, for sure, is that it puts you at a disadvantage when you're fighting numbers. I was involved. I was an athletic director for I think 18 years, and numbers. Even when I coached back in the day, it was a battle. I remember trying to finish a JV and girls basketball with 7 kids one year, and I tried to continue to play both, and actually I ended up shutting it down because this wasn't fair. I was putting kids in a compromising position, and so we don't want to do that as a district. And then there's a cost factor. The sports today are not cheap, and so it costs money to run these programs. Even if they're smaller, the program costs continue. You still pay the coach the same amount of money. You still pay transportation. You still pay the officials, and so and I can tell you that the 2 sports on here tonight come at a cost of about $42,000, and so these athletics are expensive, and so and it's something we have to look at as a board. And so with that being said, first one I'll talk about is Cambridge Springs. The wrestling program up there is struggling with numbers. From the athletic director, the varsity's sitting at six wrestlers, and the junior high has 4 wrestlers. Again, this came from the IED. And at Maplewood, the numbers are low out there too. 7 wrestlers at Maplewood, and they've had injuries, so times it's been a little less. And the difference out there is they have 18 junior high students. In talking with both our administration at both schools, the elementary program, you always want to look down. You want to look far enough down to see what's coming up, right? Clear. I look into elementary, and not that elementary can't change because kids can start a sport at different ages, and so. But right now they're struggling up at Cambridge with the elementary program, and so that's why it's up here. That's why we are talking and discussing. And by the way, none of these are up for a vote tonight. This is our committee where we discuss things, and I know we have some folks here to talk and speak. I look forward to hearing that, and so we're in the decision-making process. I'm just sharing, there's a reason why we put it up here. It's because it definitely needs to be a consideration. And so that's the first one is the consideration is that Cambridge Springs would co-op with Maplewood. And so that means that program would be at Maplewood, and that they would co-op with them. And so that's up for, that's the first thing that we're discussing right now. So I'll stop after each one of these, make sure there's no questions from the board under each one. That way we're not getting ahead of ourselves. Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Ford, can you clarify, and I'm only trying to help you out here because I know you want to get as much information out. When you spoke of the cost, there were some perplexed faces out in the crowd. So could you talk a little bit about what goes into the cost? You said
did I not say that right?
You did. I don't think people understand. Like, if you were reading the room, you would have answered what goes into the sport.
Okay.
If you were here to read
Kristen,
the
you want
room.
to talk through that?
Yeah, I can. So the district pays for equipment, cloth, uniform. We're on a rotation. There's transportation costs. There's postseason costs if they go there. There's all those travel costs. It's pretty much the coach's cost. Along with that is all your employer taxes, all your overhead, which adds about 35% onto that. We do get a little bit back in reimbursement from your PESers and your FICA, but so you have all your employer overhead costs on that as well. So as Mr. Ford said, the total cost of the girls soccer was around $18,000. For Maplewood, and boys wrestling is about $28,000. Doesn't seem like it should cost that much to run a program, but it does depend. I mean, it doesn't even matter if it's 1 kid to 20 kids. Buses are expensive to run. We pay, 2 different bus companies for athletics, depending on the attendance area, different pricing. We try to use vans as much as possible. That is cost avoidance for the district, but when you have over the allowed seats in the van, we have to take buses. So that goes for your post-travel as well. Any other questions in regards to what goes into the cost? But your biggest expenses is your coaches. You have a paid coach, assistant coaches, and then you have your volunteers, which of course are volunteers. But those are the major salaries involved in coaches.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. I'm having trouble seeing, I don't see in the audience, so any other questions from the board on anything before I move on? Moving into soccer, currently the configuration of girls soccer, but I can do boys too. Boys soccer in the district currently is housed at Sagertown, and that's all 3 schools playing under that umbrella. So what happens is there's a co-op, and so in that situation, there's 2 schools coming into co-op at 1 school. In girls soccer, we currently have, that's housed under Cambridge Springs, and Sagertown currently is in a cooperative agreement with Cambridge Springs. Maplewood has their own program out there, so we have 2 girls soccer programs within the district right now. What is up for what we're discussing tonight is the possibility of Maplewood girls soccer entering into the existing co-op between Cambridge Springs and Sagertown, so that all 3 would be just like the boys program essentially, except it would be, we house that at Cambridge. And when I say house it, the games are actually not in Cambridge, the games are actually down in Sagertown, but the athletic director, they play under Cambridge Springs, and so you can't, someone asked me, how come we can't play like under PENNCREST? You actually have to, PIAA says that you have to be a part of a high school, and so you can't play as a district. Like if we have one, naturally if we had one district building, but because we have multiple high schools, you can only play under one high school in a co-op situation. So it's been a struggle the last few years with numbers in girls soccer, and I'm gonna say that it's both programs. It's not one. Last year I was at a game and we were playing. The Cambridge team was playing with 10 people, and 11 players make up to be on the field. There were 10 at that game. I believe at the time, Maplewood had 1 sub, and so previous times, it's been a challenge with numbers, and I don't think anyone in this room associated with the soccer would tell you it's been a challenge. It has been, and in some ways, the girls that are going to speak tonight, kudos to them for, number one, kudos to being here tonight and speaking. I really I like that, and I'm going to listen to everyone intently. But, they've probably been responsible for keeping getting other students to come out, and so I give kudos to those girls. Saying that, they've also had to play games with 10 kids, 9 kids, even 8 on it, not very often with that, but they constantly battled this number. And so that's why it's up, that's why we're looking at this as a possibility. And so, our goal was to, I believe that we have discussion first in public setting, and then we come back and we can make decisions after we've had that discussion, so that boards and or the community can come and share their thoughts with us. So, and that's what we're doing. And so, and then we'll be ready for a final recommendation from the administration to the board, and we will give that in the coming coming up in the next couple of weeks, probably. We're talking about that, having a special meeting to talk nothing but athletics here. So Mr. Saborski can talk about that. But that's where we're at. I'll stop there also. Any questions from the board on the soccer?
Yeah, how many players were last year for Cambridge and Sagertown soccer? Does everybody know?
Cambridge started with 12.
Cambridge started with 12.
Last year,
I think
12?
they started with 12.
Yep,
Maplewood 13.
13. What about Sagertown?
Sagertown and Cambridge are together.
So to combine it was
So
12?
combined 12.
Wow. Okay.
That was our whole team.
So if we combined all this, supposedly, there'd be over 20 kids for soccer. What's a healthy?
Well, what did it end with? And then you're not accounting for graduating seniors and
That was
incoming freshmen.
2025
Yeah.
season, so.
So what's the outlook for this year? Does anybody, or is this, we haven't had signups or nothing, right?
Yeah.
We've had signups?
Ladies here have been working on it.
Okay.
They have more information.
So coaches who are here, what's the outlook for how many players you're gonna have for soccer if we do combine?
We don't have a coach here.
You have a coach here?
No.
Do we have a coach?
I can speak for Cambridge, as the AD at Cambridge Springs. As the AD at Cambridge Springs, we did a poll and they were looking at maybe 14 to 15. If every kid that says they were gonna play comes out.
Yeah.
14 to 15 kids. Now, I'm not a soccer person by any means, but if you're looking at, 11 kids to start, that's how many you're supposed to have on the field with a goalie, having subs, and if you actually want to play a JV schedule and not have the same girls playing 2 games, I would think, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, you'd want at least 20 girls, would probably be best.
So with that many kids, there would definitely probably be a JV team.
We would be able to, with 20 girls, I would say we'd be able to play a JV schedule as well as a varsity schedule.
Do teams in the regions have JV teams?
A few, not
Okay.
many.
No.
I mean, the bigger others, like, I seem to remember
Well, maybe not
Eisenhower.
region, on the schedule, because you
Eisenhower.
also have your non-region games. Are there JV squads out there?
There are some.
Yeah.
And it's possible to schedule strictly JV games as well. So,
Okay.
Now, on the girls' soccer, I have a question on the wrestling too, but on the girls' soccer, you said something about having it at CS at Cambridge. House it there, why couldn't we house it at Maplewood? Is there a reason we couldn't house it at Maplewood? And on the wrestling, I didn't hear any numbers for Sagertown. You had CS, you had Cambridge, you had Maplewood, but I didn't hear any numbers for Sagertown. Did I miss it or?
It's a co-op. Cambridge is.
Oh, that was both.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Never mind.
I think, I'm sorry, were you talking wrestling?
I said the wrestling, yeah.
Oh. Do
We
you have
had-
Sagertown wrestling numbers for a comparison, is what Mr. Brown, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have any Sagertown numbers, Sean?
One more time, I'm the central joke here.
Any
On wrestling numbers there.
I think.
Okay. I have the wrestling numbers are 20 plus in Sagertown. In the junior high, also some numbers are very, very solid in Sagertown wrestling. Hence why we would recommend that Cambridge, because both teams have struggled with numbers.
Sean, you're really, I don't know if you changed something on your microphone or speaker, but it's really crackly on your end. Did you do something different, maybe?
Checking.
No.
So, I think it was proposed to, and I can answer your question while he gets that.
That's fine.
I'm texting the numbers. The soccer, I mean, I had a concern, this was discussed in November, my concern is it's difficult maintaining one field. Excuse me, 2 fields.
Right.
I've seen those fields, I've coached on those fields. We need to put energy into one field. So that was brought up, that would answer your question about having, then you would have a Sagertown and Maplewood field to maintain, that'd be difficult. I know, I was looking at a map, I was looking at Google Maps, I was measuring points, because I know there's girls out in close to Albion, we got
Right.
girls down in Plum. It's not central, I think Sagertown was as central as it could get, but I think that was discussed in November. That's what was brought up. I think that's why the discussion is housing it at Sagertown. It's a Cambridge team housed at Sagertown.
Is it possible to chime in from the crowd?
We usually don't,
Just-
but
okay.
we will, you know what, we will have an opportunity, you'll hear some more information coming from the board where we're gonna invite, public comment.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And
I'm just gonna start a question.
Normally, if there's one or two people, it'd be fine, but we're gonna move it out.
There's a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. But certainly, as you're hearing what we speak, if something
Yep.
dawns on you, yeah, jot it down. But the discussion was to house it at Sagertown, so we can maintain one space for boys and girls, have a practice field, have a game field, even have a youth field there. Do you have how's your audio, Mr. Ford?
Check.
Oh,
No. Were you using an earbud by chance maybe, and did you stop using that?
They haven't, it's taken the right track.
No, something changed.
So, I've spoken to Mr. Ford quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it. He introduced, we have, third on the list is the girls varsity flag football. I'm taking over for him. This was introduced, for PENNCREST to run it as a pilot program. It's gonna be funded for the first year. There's no commitment beyond year one. It's actually funded by the Pittsburgh Steelers. I wish Jordan was here. But let's see, Dr. Howick is running survey results. There seems to be a lot of interest. We'll be able to share that information as soon as we condense it all into one presentation for us. This would be a combined proposition of all three. It is also a spring sport. And if this goes through the pilot program, they would be able to compete. It is a PIAA regulated sport. It is a District 10 regulated sport, but not this year. That would start next year, I believe. So we would be running a pilot program for the girls in flag football. I'm trying to think if I missed anything. So that is also going to be discussed in an upcoming meeting about accepting that. The difficulty with that is we would have to expedite it a little quickly, because if we want this to start, you want it to start on the right foot, and spring sports start on March 2nd. So we wouldn't want to hinder the girls or throttle any program before it even takes off. So this would be fully funded, and it's a girls flag football pilot program.
Sean, we turned off one of the speakers. Do you want to try again? No, it's still not any better.
Call back in.
Do you want to log out and try to log back in?
reboot.
That's an idea. I think you'd be good enough on speaker.
Oh, maybe, or we
I
could.
always just
Have you
reboot.
tried unplugging?
That fixes everything.
Yeah, all right, turn it off, turn it back on. Technology tips, right?
All right, well, given that, honestly, we appreciate all your input. We've received a lot of emails, we've spoken to a lot of folks. We're out in the community, we're trying to do our best, trying to make the right decision, trying to do it correctly, trying to do what's best for the district going forward and the current players. And so, yeah, these are impactful decisions forthcoming. The admin is asking the board to consider these three things. They've come forward for us to consider them. Soccer was discussed in November. We're discussing wrestling now. It's out there that admin has asked the board to consider that. They've also asked us to consider the flag football. The longer we wait on this, this was my fear, is that we drag it out and we hinder the programs because nobody has an answer. So to resolve this, I'm asking the board for a special meeting on these three issues. This would be Monday night. What day is that? 16th. So Through communication, I get it, you know, you don't live in the board docs like we do. This was not up for vote tonight, but it will be on the 16th, and so we will listen. Ladies, we really appreciate you being here. We're gonna listen to your comments. We'll consider those. Mr. Ford has a few small details to run with the flag football to see if that can get taken off. I'm sure in the weeks, they're also gonna consider more discussion, more talking, more cost-benefit analysis. So I wanna give it its own moment. And so next Monday, the 16th, I believe the board is ready to vote on these items. Yes or no? We'll vote yes or no. So
Yeah.
are we okay with the board to do that? Yeah, and that's just so that we have an answer, so we're not hindering one program or the other. In particular, soccer is a fall sport, but summer programs within summer schedules. And of course, flag football would start 2 weeks from that if it passes. So,
No, unfortunately not. It must be the speakers.
You might as well just call it in.
I'm ready to go to the voting meeting.
No, we still,
We can't understand you at all.
It's got an education part.
the only thing I wanna ask,
I'm gonna, oh,
is
Tim
real
has a
quick though,
question.
on all these programs, I know there's cost savings, but that's not the driving force here. This is honestly, we want the teams to be well, we want enough participants so it's safe, okay? It's not just money, so I don't want anybody leaving here and just thinking, for me, it's not about the money, it's about you guys' safety, okay?
So to you, sir, if you have comments, questions, you know, you'd be eligible to speak. There'd be open, or not open mic, but registered comment, the 16th. We also have non-registered,
We'll have
non-agendas
comments
at the end.
today.
Yeah.
We'll have comments today.
Yeah, I had
Right.
signed up to speak.
Oh, okay.
Perfect, yeah.
Well, then,
And I'll be honest, you know, we're looking at every side. I'm not saying one way is going, but in my mind, if it does go, if the votes fall one way, I hope, and I spoke to some folks about it, I hope the coaches and the administration and the parents can find a way to come together to celebrate the teams, have a Maplewood night, have a Sagertown night, like we have a senior night. Let them play in their jerseys on their field, even if it's not one way. That takes a lot of work, especially with maintenance, but I think that could be something really good if it does fall that way. We're not trying to shut anybody out of their athletic experience. The vote will be, and the discussion I'm sure will be what's best. But those things are in our minds, because I know they're in your mind, so.
Hello?
yeah.
Okay, there you are. We can hear you now.
Okay, very good. Where did we leave off at?
I think you're ready for the
I
education
think we're
report.
ready for the education report, actually.
Kindergarten testing.
Oh,
Yes.
kindergarten testing.
There is a policy for first reading to consider an assessment for early entry into kindergarten because we moved the entry date back to June 30th from August 31st. So there is a policy up for first reading to consider the option for an assessment to surpass that entry date, that age 5 date for July and August babies. Not babies, sorry, birthdays. Okay, now we'll move into, any questions on that?
I'm just gonna make a comment on that. I helped push to get the start date moved back, because I'm a firm believer that the kids need to be kids. Starting them too soon, it is tough. I think when we go into testing, I'm just afraid there's gonna be too many, well, okay, this one's close enough, well, all right, we'll let this one in. There's too many, it's gonna be too easy to vary. I think if we're gonna hold a date of, what is it, June 30?
June 30th.
June 30th, we hold June 30th, that's what PENNCREST holds, and we move on. I think if we start fluctuating back and forth, it's always gonna create problems. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Anybody else?
So what can we do about the kids that age out of pre-K?
So you did grant an exemption to, I believe it was 6 students at that the pre-K had requested, because for the 1-year exemption, there were 6 students that were granted an exemption to that. I think that was back in November that came to a board vote. So there was an exemption granted to those 6 students that pre-K sent forward.
I mean, I'm for it. I think maybe we can put a cap on it, because this is something new that, you know, when I spoke with Sean and Randy about it, people are not thinking about their kids going to school in 5 years. So if they weren't, you know, if they were talking to somebody else, they did not know maybe that we were discussing that and that it was going to affect them and their family, their, you know, their daycares, whatever that may be. So I just think maybe, you know, now it's out there, can we for 4 years, 5 years, whatever that may be, consider the kids that fall in the gap? You know, I don't know that this has to be a policy forever and always, like Tim said, but there are probably some families that have come forward that said, hey, you know, I thought both my kids were gonna be in, you know, school this year or whatever, yeah. So that's my only concern, is we don't have to do it forever, but there may be some families that have fallen in that gap that didn't have childcare planned or don't have an option, I guess.
Well, if we exempted the pre-K to help them out, I mean, you know my views on it. It's just, and I've looked in the Google machine, and I've got some data, and a lot of the data supports what we're doing here, that the kids that start after a birth date of, you know, in that summer, they do not perform as well the first few years as the others. I mean, so if we want to give our kids the best chance, we want to get better test scores, this is something we're going to have to do. We're going to have to rip the Band-Aid off and say, this is just what we're doing. And if they have to go to pre-K for another year to help them out, what's it going to hurt? It's just going to help benefit them. It's going to make them better. So.
I do think some of the challenges are availability of childcare, specifically in the Maplewood area. I think a lot of the concerns we've had have come from families in the Maplewood attendance area, because they just don't have as many options for childcare. I don't know what we can do about that to help them.
But if we can help with the program.
You ready for the education report?
Yes.
Okay, I did share with you our comprehensive plan is due. We were kind of under a tight timeline for that. I'm not sure where the notification went to. It did not go to Sean or I for the March 31st deadline on that. And it's required to be up for a 28-day public review. So that will be going onto the website tomorrow for everybody in the public to see, and up for, basically it's like a 28-day draft, so we can make changes during that time, and then it'll be brought back to you at the March board meeting for your approval, and then submitted to PDE. It is a requirement by the state to every 3 years that we do a comprehensive plan. I will tell you that it is not going to be as comprehensive as the PENNCREST Rising plan that Mr. Ford had laid out last month to you. So, you know, I think that plan will really take a more in-depth look at our district as a whole and do a much better picture, comprehensive picture at all of the elements of the district, instead of just specifically what the state feels is important. So it's based on our data, and we do have a team looking at it internally and externally, and we'll make adjustments to that. But again, it's a requirement for the state, so I shared it with all of you. It's 100 and some pages, so enjoy. The Attaboy organization is doing a concert. This is sponsored by the Oh my goodness. Hayden Hitchcock Foundation is sponsoring a concert in all three of our high schools and Union City High School. They're doing a free community concert while they're here. So that will be on March 26th at Sagertown High School, which is a great opportunity for our community and students to be able to participate in that. And we're excited that they're willing to do that for us for free. And that'll be after their concert in our buildings. There's a lot of athletic travel on there. It's springtime, so our spring athletic teams will be doing some spring training. We have Cambridge Chorus going to regional chorus, and Cambridge High School Journalism going to the state journalism competition at State College. We have several guest speakers this month across the district. We also, I'm excited to say, we have Peterson handwriting. There's an agenda item on there to approve Peterson handwriting for K through 3. So this will be for teachers in the classroom to renew our handwriting curriculum in all the classrooms at the elementary school. And then we have Ever5 financial literacy curriculum resources for K through 12. We are required to have a financial literacy curriculum in K through 12. This would be a resource. This is not our final curriculum. This is a curriculum resource that we will embed into our curriculum once we have it finalized. Mrs. Henry is working on that with staff. We will have a course in 9 through 12 is required for next year. So that will be our first step, is an actual course that will appear somewhere in grades 9 through 12, and it will most likely be in 11th or 12th grade is where we're leaning, because we feel like they are the most ready to understand financial literacy and apply that in their everyday life. So that will be coming back to you hopefully in March. We'll have that ready for you. And this would be a resource within that. And then an additional articulation agreement with Regional Behavioral Health. We already have one articulation agreement with them. This is to expand the agreement with them to do some specific small group and individual services here at Sagertown Elementary. And they will be doing something similar to what we have in the other two elementary schools. Cambridge Elementary, Maplewood Elementary have the Soren Moore program. This would be something similar to that here for families, which is exciting for Sagertown Elementary to finally get that piece in their building as well. They've been working towards something like that for a while. And again, that is at parents' request and permission. So it is just an outside agency that is another resource for families. We do have a mid-year graduate from Bethesda, and then there are several books, donated books, that I provided summaries for. It's been a busy month. Any questions?
Is there an opportunity to ask for an extension on the comprehensive report to the state?
There is not. We tried.
I'll talk privately with y'all, but I'm concerned about some of the language in there.
Sure.
So, for example, we say that the reason math scores may be what they are because we lack technology, for example. Are we suggesting that we need more technology to improve the math scores?
So not necessarily lacking technology. It could be a variety of things like access to, like, not all of our students have the ability to access it outside of the school day or have access to it.
My concern is if we make these statements in the report, it would seem then the solution is that we would have more technology. Or if we say they lack sufficient materials, that means we need more materials. I just think the language really should be refined. If we don't know why their scores are low, let's not just make up stuff, because I'm curious how technology would relate to a 4th grade math student.
So there are 3 goals that were set in the plan, not all related to math. So the technology goal that was in there wasn't specifically for the math.
It is under math.
So it's part of math, but it was also a noted weakness. If you look at the beginning of the plan, you had to identify strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
It was identified as a weakness overall for the district as an area where the longevity of planning for the resources to continue to update technology and the having a technology plan to be able to stay up to date with the technology resources is a
But can we
challenge.
substantiate in any way that we need to do something with technology to improve math scores?
So that's not how, I guess I'm confused because that's not exactly how it's written. The technology goal in there wasn't specifically tied to math, it was tied to.
We'll talk offline, but that's my concern, is
We
that
need to talk more about that, because I don't believe that extending broadband to other than school hours is gonna bring our scores up.
That's
You know,
right.
so I think we need to talk about that.
Okay,
as a
I'm
board
confused because
together.
that's not how it was written.
Yeah, I didn't see that. but-
You didn't see that? Yeah, it's in there.
Okay. Sure. We have a month to revise that, so yes. I will say that the intent of the technology goal wasn't about math, improving math scores. It was about having a plan for how to maintain our technology presence and keep up with the technology demands in the district outside of math scores.
I'd like to see a comparison to what we were before to where we're at. I mean, have we increased?
With math or with?
Well, it depends. If you're in 7th grade or 8th grade, you're down to 22%. But if you're in some of the other ones, you're around 50%. And
Sure.
there doesn't seem to be a plan that says, here's how we're going to do it, to increase the scores. We're going to spend the first hour talking about sports and not education. And finally, we got to education, and we don't know what we're going to do.
That is what we're trying to articulate in the plan, is to put a focus on math, because you're absolutely right, math is where our focus needs to be. I mean, that's why the 2 academic goals in the plan were both math goals, because math is a glaring issue for us academically.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Questions? Facilities?
So the only thing I have for you guys this evening is you'll see a resolution on the agenda. This is for our application for the school facilities grant. This is the grant that we received last year that funded some of the site work at Cambridge Springs High School. When we did this application, we had to pick a bill, something that was already kind of slated, or our biggest facility asset project. So when we did this application, we put completing the Giza project as that. The award for that could be up to $5 million. Our application was to do that entire Giza project, which would be $4.78 million. I think that award's in fall, typically.
Typically, if we find out in summer,
Okay.
early summer, I think they have to make a decision by the end of May. So applications are due by the end of February, and they will let us know at the end of May. And then we have to start the project.
Okay.
But there's no penalty for applying.
No, there's no penalty for applying. If we get the money, great. If we don't, we don't. But
There's a $100 fee to it, that's.
yeah, a $100 application fee, but other than that, there's no commitment. So we've been working with Total Grant Services to get everything ready, and we're just asking for your approval to apply for that grant. So that's all I have.
Financial?
All right. You'll see on the agenda, it's just the basics. We have our monthly expenditures, treasurer's reports, same. There is a few budget transfers on there, so that is for your tuition, outside tuition, which again, probably should just ask you to transfer more, because we know that's coming. We deliberately put that in budgetary reserves in hopes that they would pass a reform. So we're moving money from reserves into pay outside cyber tuition. So you'll notice that is on there, just as well as a few other for the special ed substitutes, which again, we knew we would be over in those categories, so it's just to level out to make sure we're coding everything where it needs to be. You'll notice on there is the IU5 access agreement, so there's 2 agreements. Those dates are correct. That one is a previous year, back in 2021. They finally settled that one, so with the access, it's the same as our in-house access, so the IU5 performs services based on the IEPs with our students, and some of those are reimbursable through the access program, which is Medicaid funded, so the they go ahead and bill that on our behalf, and we receive those revenues back. So those agreements are revenue coming back to our district from the IU. It's just an agreement they like to have signed, and then I'll go ahead and submit an invoice for those funds, and we'll receive those. There's a couple donations on there. We thank them for their donations. And then the 26-27 budget is underway. We started that in very beginning of January into February, so that is in the works. It's a lengthy process by the time you go through all your department budgets, your personnel, all the line items, so we will be bringing that to you. We typically present it in April. We have to approve it preliminary in May, final in June. So you will be seeing the budget coming in the future. The governor did give his budget address last Tuesday with basic ed, an increase of $50 million with $375 million going through the basic ed formula. Special ed, an increase of $50 million with $514 million going through the special ed formula. And the ready to learn is $526 million. Again, we don't qualify for the adequacy funding, but they did give an additional $50,000 to all those school districts that did not qualify. Something, not a whole lot, but every little bit helps. So I'm hoping that if this does pass, we will receive a little bit additional funding on top of what we did last year. However, we know how long it took last year to pass the state budget. This year, I'm hoping it'll be a little sooner. They're pretty optimistic. So hopefully we'll have numbers. Again, our budget is due by June 30th, and there's no exceptions. The state has unlimited days, it seems like. So we have to budget with the information we know at the time, and this is the information I know at the time. There'll be a couple more budget addresses that our professional organizations will be doing. So I'll be listening into those to see if we can get some more insight where we might land as far as how much money they will be putting through the education formula, so we can have a good revenue number. And that is all. Any questions?
Okay, we will transition to the voting meeting. Thank you, all the admin pieces for your reports. Certainly, board members reach out for further questions. I'm sure they'd be happy to answer them. So we're gonna go to the voting meeting now. We have 6 registered speakers. Policy is you're allowed to speak for 5 minutes. I usually give you a 30-second courtesy. If you go over 5, I will have to stop you. If that's the case, you're more than welcome to share your speeches or email us your speeches, and as we will read them. But policy says for registered speakers, 5 minutes. Also, as a courtesy, we're going to allow you to go now. This will since we're not voting on anything today, but I know you've been sitting there, and we're ready to hear what you have to say. So we're going to let you go now. So first we have Emily Horosky. Please state your name and residence, area of residence.
My name's Emily Horosky, and I'm from Randolph Township, and I'm a junior at Maplewood High School. So, good evening, and the 4 of us are here to discuss the Maplewood soccer program, and we will discuss a lot of the topics that you guys already brought up throughout our speech, but so after hearing about the possibility of combining all 3 of the PENNCREST teams, we would like to ask you to hear us out about our reasons against it. To begin with, within 1 day of recruiting, we gathered 16 definite players for the fall season, as well as multiple people who have shown interest. From the information we received, we were told only 14 players were needed to keep us as separate teams. However, after exceeding the number needed, we were told that there is still a high possibility of combining. To ensure that interest doesn't falter before the fall season, we are planning on soon holding a series of open gyms. This allows the new players to get a feel for the welcoming environment as well as find their love for the game. These open gyms also allow us to see how many people are truly committed. To continue, our parents at Maplewood have put so much time and energy into this program. They have created the soccer boosters from the ground up to help provide for us and continue our program at Maplewood. Each year, they have generously paid for our shin guards and reimbursed players for their cleats. Their generosity has transformed our team and piqued player interest in a short time. However, due to recent statements by members of the booster committee, these funds will not be transferred to the combined PENNCREST team. This wouldn't just affect the players, but would also undermine past efforts made by the parents. It would be terrible to see all of this determination go to waste. It isn't only our parents' boosters that have saved the program over the years. In collaboration with the boosters, we as players have also put in tremendous amounts of work to change coaches and refresh the negative, unsuccessful environment that previously surrounded the team. Can I just hand it off to Reagan Cox?
Sure, as long as you come up and say your name and area of residence.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Reagan Cox.
Hi, my name is Reagan Cox. I'm also from Randolph Township, and I'm a junior at Maplewood High School, and I've been playing Maplewood soccer for 8 years. So if we look at the statistics from this year compared to many previous years, it shows a big increase in our wins. In 2023, we had one non-region win, and the rest of our games were lost by substantial amounts. Then, in 2024, we won 2 games, but only one of them was conference. Now, looking at our previous fall season, we had 5 wins, and every loss other than one team was lost by only 1 point. This is the greatest amount of wins the soccer team has had since fall of 2018, where none of them were conference. In 2025, a large number of our players were new to the sport and inexperienced. However, with one season under a new coaching staff, we became competitive again. We are provided with a singular season to rebuild, and we are begging you to allow our program to continue to evolve. If we can do all of that in 1 year, imagine what the next couple can look like. The main argument that we've received is that there will be more players on a combined team. While this hypothetically sounds correct, it is unlikely that this will be the result. Due to traveling inconveniences because of our wide district, many people will not join. If people do not join, what is truly gained by this combining? The numbers are not going to skyrocket contrary to public belief. When Maplewood players decide not to play because of the combining, it takes away from the number of student athletes. Creating a PENNCREST team also moves us up a district, thus making the teams we play much more difficult, which doesn't help the program to evolve. Also, because the deadline for combining was not met at the proper time, combining now penalizes us from making playoffs. This depletes our drive to excel in our season. Now I will pass it off to Mariska.
Ella?
Ellis? Okay.
Oh, no. Mariska. Oh, I'm sorry, I jumped up. Sorry, my bad. Mariska.
I'm Mariska Mitchell. I'm from Plum Township, and I've played on the Maplewood soccer team for 8 years. So piggybacking off of Emily and Reagan, no matter where the PENNCREST team gets held, it will most definitely burden one of the teams. Leaving classes early for games is already a struggle that we have faced as students. If combined, we will have to leave school even earlier for home games and away games. This makes our school year even harder as we are missing crucial academic classes. Furthermore, we've spent every fall season recruiting players. We haven't requested any help from adults or coaches, and it has been a battle that we have fought every year. Going through all of this at a young age has taught us perseverance, but it has also been very difficult. Pleading year after year to have a team has been exhausting, but it has all been worth it because of the bonds I have created. To have all of this work put down the drain right before our senior year is devastating. I have grown up with these girls, and not having my senior night with them as a proud Maplewood Tiger breaks my heart. As a long-lasting soccer player, I have found that soccer is played mostly through bonds and communication. From communicating on the field to bus rides with the team, these bonds are necessary for the game. I have played my whole career next to my best friends and others I go to school with. By combining with unfamiliar foes, there may be a lack of bonding. I am of course open to new friends and teammates, but the combining of teams may alter the team chemistry. To continue, Maplewood and the other 2 PENNCREST teams have always had rivalry. This past season was the first time Maplewood has won against Cambridge and Sagertown for over a decade. This rival win was huge for my team. By combining all 3 schools, it removes bonding as well as lifelong friendship.
Thank you. Now, Ella.
Hi, my name is Ella Marks. I am also in Randolph Township. I am a junior at Maplewood, and I've been playing soccer since 6th grade. To continue what they were saying and to finish up for speaking against the combining for soccer teams, because most of the players for the upcoming fall are senior players, people put into question that since once they graduate, they will need to combine after that anyways. For us, I believe that is a stronger reason to keep the teams separate, at least for 1 year. Many of the seniors have played since elementary, and that is what has made us become and stay such good friends. We have looked forward to our senior year together, our senior night, and our last soccer season at Maplewood for years. As long as we have exceeding numbers for the next year, let the majority of seniors have their last opportunity for soccer to happen. And with this, if we give Maplewood 1 more year to progress, it could spark much more interest in younger players to continue the program for years to come. If money plays a crucial role in the decision process of combining or not, it should be noted that if we combine new PENNCREST jerseys, or if we are at one of the schools, may need to be distributed and bought. If we do not decide to combine under the name PENNCREST, money will need to be spent to distribute jerseys for the new players as well. Also, it is important to note that the boys PENNCREST team also practices at the Sagertown fields, so if combined teams were housed at Sagertown, it would be inconvenient for both teams. Overall, combining in the upcoming 2026 fall season is burdensome on both sides, and we would like to ask you to have an open mind while taking these reasons into consideration. And we would like to say if there are any goals we could meet to persuade more to keep them as separate teams, at least for 1 year, we would like to know those before the votes is made. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, now we have Brent Martz. Mr. Martz, he's the named area of residence.
Hello, my name is Brent Martz. I live in Guys Mills, Randolph Township. Before I get started, Mr. Brown, you asked a question earlier if the teams were combined, if Maplewood could be the home field. I believe it could. One, we have a regulation-sized field. It's my understanding or feeling that the Sagertown Cambridge field is undersized. I'm not sure if that's accurate, but that's my feeling. It's always been. We also have shelters for the teams during inclement weather, and that's not on the fields here in Sagertown.
No, I appreciate it.
So you're going to hear common theme tonight. I'd like to thank the board for allowing me the opportunity to speak in regards to Maplewood girls soccer team. At this time, I'd like to share some information with everyone. Maplewood had 6 players recognized as Region 3 All-Stars this past season. You're looking at 4 of them right here. For anyone that knows soccer, it's a game of 11 players versus 11 players, as Mr. Ford referenced earlier. With this in mind, half of the starting lineup at Maplewood were recognized as All-Stars. This upcoming fall season, we returned 5 of those All-Stars along with a coach that fostered success both in individual player development and overall team development. Our Lady Tigers were very competitive this past season and on the cusp of making the playoffs. Yes, we recorded a total of 5 wins, but the remaining games, except for one, were decided by a single goal and often in the closing minutes of the game. We even had a game go to double overtime. For those of you who follow Maplewood, you know that we've made large strides in a very short period of time. New coaches, a new athletic director, and a booster program providing support in the way of providing socks, shin guards, team meal, and cleat reimbursement program dedicated to not only lessen the burden on the player and the school, but also help encourage participation by reducing the cost of entry for new players and their families. All this has resulted in renewed interest in soccer, a buzz, if you will, amongst the student body at Maplewood. With 5 All-Stars returning and the remainder of the team having built experience and cohesiveness last season, Maplewood is poised for a breakout season, a team that stands a very good chance at making the playoffs. Our Lady Tigers have worked so hard and deserve this opportunity, especially the upcoming seniors who have endured so much over the years. Their hard work should be taken into consideration, their dedication needs to be respected, and their potential as a breakout team needs to not only be recognized, but also supported by the school board. These girls have earned the right to remain Maplewood Lady Tigers. There are 16 girls, including current Maplewood players, that have recently pledged to play this fall. And I understand it, those numbers are increasing. This is the biggest showing of interest in girls soccer that Maplewood has seen in many, many years. I'm not surprised. We have a great think tank at root. Now, I understand there may be some skepticism if that number is real. Should that be the case, it would be simple enough for the school to send out sign-up sheets to all eligible and 8th grade girls at Maplewood for this upcoming fall season. I'll finish with this. Simply said, most important, the strength of the PENNCREST soccer program and number of players reside at Maplewood with the Maplewood Lady Tigers. I'll state this again. The strength and players reside at Maplewood. I appreciate the time and the opportunity to speak. Everybody have a great evening. Thank you.
We have Paul Horowski. Thank you.
My name is Paul Horowski. I'm a local pharmacist, business owner. I live in Guys Mills, Randolph Township. I'm the co-president with Brent Martz for the Soccer Boosters program, and I'm also father to Emily Horowski. So, I'm sorry I'm a loudspeaker, I just am. But anyways, I'm going to repeat a lot of the same things that everybody else had mentioned, but they don't understand. It was a seismic shift in the Maplewood Soccer girls program this year. It wasn't just they got a little bit better. It was a seismic shift to the positive. And don't be misled by anybody telling you that they were not competitive. And I'll say that for the Cambridge girls soccer team too. Both those girls teams were competitive, irregardless of what their numbers were. There are 7 other PENNCREST School teams that performed worse and had a lower winning percentage than either one of those girls soccer programs, and they're not talked about being combined. So again, and I'm not talking the individual wrestling or cross country, I'm talking athletic teams. There are at least 7, maybe 8, that will have a lower winning percentage than either one of those girls soccer teams. They deserve to be individual teams. And specifically Maplewood, like had been alluded to, they have the dramatic shift in their competitive nature. I'll give you an example. Against 4 of their losses this year were against Eisenhower and Mercyhurst. The combined total goals that they lost by in those 4 games were 4 goals. They lost by 1 goal per game. A year earlier, the combined loss, the point differential, was 31 goals. And they shrunk from 31 to 4 goals. Those are still losses in the win-loss column, but they sure as heck felt like wins to a lot of us. Okay? It took all of 2001, 2002, 2003, and 2004 for Maplewood girls soccer to accrue 5 wins. And they did that this year alone. Okay? They are just turning the tide on what potential could exist for Maplewood soccer. It's just starting now. The plug can't be pulled when it's just getting started. There was never a boosters program. Now there is. And we help with the students, and we help their parents to help finance getting involved into the sport. This is stuff that's just happening. You can't pull the plug when it's just getting started. I mean, every sport doesn't have to be a Sagertown baseball or a Maplewood volleyball. But these girls are playing. One thing for sure, I guarantee, if you join teams in that October or that September, that late August day, there will only be 11 girls in PENNCREST playing and starting on a soccer team instead of 22. Do you want 22 girls playing soccer, or do you want 11? But ultimately, that's the truth of a merger. There's going to be less participation. There's only 11 girls that can start in a game. And if there's only one team where there was once 2, you've cut the number of girls playing. How many want to be on a team and not play? Everybody wants to play. That's the point of participating, is to play. And that's why we want to have 2 teams. And we have a team that's turning the corner. And that excitement is going to generate more participation. We have more players than we had last year. And we have more players than we had the year before. So 25 had more than 24. 26 is going to have more than 25. We already know that. We have something that's growing. Why do you want to cut it? You don't start a business when you start turning a profit, you close the doors. That's when you reinvest, is when you start to turn a profit. And this team is starting to win, starting to grow, generate excitement. Even my son, who would hate to admit that his sister's team is starting, people in school are starting to talk about Maplewood girls soccer for the first time. Okay, everybody talks about Maplewood baseball and girls volleyball and even girls basketball, but for the first time they're talking about Maplewood girls soccer. Like, Let's let this ride. We have 7 seniors coming back next year. They earned the right.
30 seconds.
They earned the right to play for one more year and try to keep continuing to grow this program. They are competitive. Cambridge and Maplewood, both competitive. And we are certainly growing in Maplewood. Let's continue to grow. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, next we'll move on to the, thank you all. First of all, you made the trip out here. We appreciate it very much, and for your words and your passion. It certainly felt, and this is what like Mr. Ford has said, this is what democracy and local government is all about. So we appreciate it. And girls, you've done yourself well. You've done yourself well. So next we will move into the voting section of the meeting. I'd like to entertain a motion for the approval of minutes. Where am I at? Yeah, it's from January 12th, 2026. Resolved that the PENNCREST School Board of Directors approve the following minutes, January 12th, 2026.
Second.
Any comments or questions? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. I'd like to entertain a motion for the policies, first reading. I got it, yep. We're looking at policies as presented on the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments or questions regarding the first readings? Okay, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion for policy approval. Resolved that the PENNCREST School Board of Directors approve the following policies. Policy 110, purchases subject to bidding quotation.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, we'll move into the consent portions. I'd like to entertain a motion for consent agenda of the education report. This would be B through H.
So moved. Second.
Hearing a motion, any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Now, I know, I'm gonna interrupt here a second, we don't have anything on athletics, but I had a question on the wrestling, and we kind of
Oh, I'm
didn't get
sorry.
back to that. No, that's all right. On the wrestling, or even on the soccer, two things that one big thing we need to consider is travel. It is gonna be very tough for travel.
Yep.
Would there be any entertainment for van service for that? And I'm just throwing it out there, I don't expect an answer, but, because we've tried this in the past, but it didn't really work out well with busing.
Right. I'm gonna, since Mr. Ford is not speaking, from my knowledge, and maybe back me up in the athletic, we do offer travel services during games, for games.
For games.
Yeah, even in our consolidated, so we have a few consolidated sports as it is,
But,
and they would offer for games, so your question for practices.
yes, because as we're talking about looking an imaginary map in front of me,
Okay, so this would be for practices.
right, and let's just say we house Maplewood girls soccer at Maplewood, which I really think if we did combine, that's what we have to do, but anyhow. The girls that, like you said, over by Elby, if they want to play soccer, from the school, is there any way we could offer transportation by van to the Maplewood deal? This isn't, I don't expect an answer. But
Practice?
yes, for practice, because a lot of the girls can't drive, or, aren't able. And for parents to get home from work and,
Yeah.
if they're working here, you boogie home, get the kid, run to Maplewood,
Yeah.
or vice versa,
Absolutely, and.
we have, but if we're gonna put our kids in this situation for a reason, do we have a plan to help them out?
Right, and I offered a suggestion, or at least in my head, even do you one better, is there a way we can rotate? I know it's hard to maintain spaces. Like I mentioned, I have my reservations about maintaining spaces, but working with the coaches and being creative, I understand it's awkward, it's different. If we end up going down that path, we have to think outside the box.
Yes.
You know, I don't think it's fair it's not fair for Plum Township residents to travel this way. It's not fair for close to Albion, Cussawalla residents to travel out that way.
That's why I said if we, and I'm not saying that's the way we're voting, but I'm just throwing this out there. If we decide to combine, we're gonna have to take in consideration the kids that want to play but can't make the practices or can't make the games because of travel restrictions.
What was that cost for one van, $30,000 for a year, kids?
No.
Isn't that what transportation had for one van?
That's for a school
Yeah,
route
transport
for a day.
van.
That's for everyday student.
Everyday student travel.
So it's not $30,000.
So
how often do they practice?
Well, we're
Once a
talking
week?
about this.
I don't know.
Every day.
I
They
don't,
practice every day.
I don't know what they practice.
That's 5 days a week. That's an
And
everyday.
we're talking about this on Monday,
So that's $30,000.
Right, yeah, so,
We move on.
Mr. Ford, if you were able to hear the questions, transportation.
Yeah, so let us do if it's the board's desire, we can do a couple things. Number one, we can look at current fleet and the feasibility of those running after school compared to what they're already being used for. Number two, we can do a cost analysis of what that would be, and we'll pick some points in the district, far points, and we can do that. So we can do that and have that. I think that would be better rather than speculating what it might be.
And it wouldn't be for a year, it's just for the season.
All right, I'm gonna move on. If you have questions regarding wrestling,
That's a question that we brought up.
and this is part of, we'll discuss that Monday. Let's go. Huh? Let's go with that. We did support, we're on facilities. Okay, I'll entertain a motion for facilities and transportation. Resolved that the PENNCREST Board of Directors approve the following policies. Ooh, I'm on the wrong one.
Where are we at?
Hang on, I'm doing this.
I'm lost, actually.
Mr. Ford, I'm doing, I got it. I
Facility.
was reading off one. Resolved the PENNCREST School Board of Directors approve the consent agenda's facility and transportation consent agenda items B through C.
So moved.
Second.
Hearing a motion is second. Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Moving on to the financial report, I'll entertain a motion for the consent agenda. Resolved that the PENNCREST School Board Directors approve the consent agenda items B through G.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none.
Say again, where?
We are on financial report. B through G. I have a motion and a second to approve B through G. Financial report. Can take a moment.
So moved. We already
I
got.
have a motion and a second. Any comments or questions? I can take a moment. Folks get caught up. Okay, hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, moving on to personnel. I will entertain a motion. Resolved that the PENNCREST School Board of Directors approve the consent agenda personnel items B through I.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. Any comments or questions on personnel?
I just wish the people that resigned move ahead and move forward in their life and thank them for the job they have done for the district while they were here.
Yeah, I like that. We have, this time of year, we have a lot of retirements coming up, and we have a lot to celebrate in some of these resignations and retirements. So I have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion passes. Right now, new business for the board. Open the floor for the board to discuss any new business. Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the announcements. We did meet in executive session today to discuss personnel items. And lastly, do we have any citizens on non-agenda items that would like to speak? Non-registered will be given 3 minutes. Thank you, sir. Yep. Please state your name and your, how much you like and your area of residence.
Jason Barndale, Cambridge Springs. I just got a few questions. This is my second year as the varsity head coach at Cambridge Springs. I was just wondering, how am I supposed to build a program like, just say, Mr. Mulligan, who's been coaching for 20 years in 2 years without it being dissolved, you know, or going to Maplewood or wherever. I've talked to many programs, and I've talked about combining our youth program, kind of intertwine it with our varsity program. Right now, it's in shambles, yes it is, but in the past, we've had 40, 50 kids. But the people in charge of it right now they gotta go. And I gotta rebuild that. And how am I supposed to do that? I mean, it's only my second year. And lastly, are you voting on the wrestling thing on the 216?
I believe yes.
So, I don't know. Well, one more thing. I think you just touched on it a little bit. The transportation thing. I mean, my kids, I mean, some of them that are there, they're not going to be able to get there. They're not going to be able to go, so they'll be done. I doubt half the kids will go. You know, so you're going to lose the 4 or 5 we have right now, and the 7 or 8 more I plan on getting next year that I've talked to. You know, hopefully more by next season, but I think I can build the numbers up before this combining takes place. See, it's only my second year, so I just would like the opportunity to have a chance, you know. Thank you.
So, real quick before you sit down, do you have a plan to build the program? On how you'd like to build the program?
Well, first of all, we're going to start at the elementary, but I know that's not helping the varsity right now. I'm going to go in and I'm going to try to talk to more students in the high school. Try to get more students. Try to get, like right now, we have no football players wrestling, maybe 1 or 2. Get more of them football players out there. I mean, they have 20 kids on the basketball team. Only, just say 10 play, you know? Get some of them guys to switch up, you know? I mean, we just got to do a lot of talking, a lot of convincing. Our boosters is going to help out with that matter. We're going to hold little, like sign-up things or whatever, or talk, to get them to come in and talk.
You plan on doing any clinics with the elementary and younger kids, or?
I plan on trying to have like open mats this summer. Yeah.
Thank you for the coach's perspective.
Thank you.
Any other non-agenda, non-registered citizens? Okay, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Lots of things.